Could you carry me like a flag after a war? When you're gone and when you're first born, could you carry me? Could you carry me? 'Cause I don't know how we got so far, you and me. Almost like there's a sense between us. So I need to know, could you carry me back into your heart again? Could you carry me right into your distant hands? Could you carry me right back where we started from? Could you carry me on and on and on and on and on and on and on? Could you carry me back to where we started from? Remember when we would dance all night, parking lots and velvet skies? I was there for you, and you were there for me. And every time we touched every night, I was there for you, and you were there for me. So I don't know how we got so far, you and me. Almost like there's a sense between us. So I need to know, could you carry me back into your heart again? Could you carry me right into your distant hands? Could you carry me right back where we started from? Could you carry me on and on and on and on and on and on and on? Could you carry me back to where we started from? On and on and
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't know about you, but starting these calls off with music always puts me in a great mood. Can you guys hear those backgrounds? Sorry. I saw Shay's head bopping, Jamie's, like, it made me pumped up. So thank you guys for being on tonight's call. I'm super excited for this call because it's our first one and hopefully to many, many others. When Nick kind of came up with the idea of collaborating all of our team calls at least once a month, I'm like, on board, all about it, because synergy and energy is what raise the roof. Synergy and energy really is momentum and a heartbeat of my business and also in our team. So why don't you guys, if you can, while we're getting started, pop a text. I know some for me, like I don't always see Facebook chats, so text your teammates, let them know that this is our first call with the entire team and organization and that we're getting on right now. Hi, Nick. Hi, Mitch. Oh, geez. Talk about nerves. I'm like shaking. Spotlight's on me. So even as a host and I'm being in this business for a long time, I still get nervous. I still get butterflies in my stomach. So if you guys can put your videos on, that would actually help me as a speaker and any of the other speakers, so we know we can collaborate. Do you guys keep hearing the ding of my Facebook chats? Dang it, does anyone know how to shut that off? I don't know how. Nick, you might know how. But if you do, put it in the chat. So welcome for tonight's call. Put a thumbs up. Let me know if you guys are excited for us collaborating with these. Like I said, we're going to do them once a month. Yeah, lots of thumbs up. Also, if you guys can put in the chat where you're tuning in from. I live half in Vegas and half in San Diego. For the most part, Vegas, but we just moved here a couple months ago. So it's been fun. And then also, how long have you been a promoter? A month, a day, 3 days, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. 2019. Why does that feel like I just aged? It's only 2021. 4 months. Cool. San Diego. 1 year. Oh my gosh, so fast. San Diego. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I just see that because that's in my res, Nick. It might be true. 7 months. Vegas, Carrie, yay. 5 months. Oh my gosh, we have so many new people. Oh my goodness. That's exciting. We'll talk about this a little bit in a little bit, but there is a corporate event coming up in a little over a week, and it's our first live one. So I know these Zooms, I always get pumped up by them, but I get more pumped up from our personal meeting people, personal events on the community. So hopefully a lot of you guys are coming to more. Yay, more. Okay, wait, I gotta stop for a second. How do I shut the beep off? Where's Nick? There you are. You have to know this, Nick.
Yeah, in the chat, there should be a mute button and you could just mute the chat.
No, it's for my Facebook notifications. It's like on my settings of my computer.
Yeah.
Right. So there should be a mute.
On Facebook?
Mhm.
Sorry.
I'm a tech savvy nerd. There should be a mute notifications.
I don't see it. Dang it. Okay. Hopefully we can just ignore it. Notifications. Sorry, freeze 1 second. While you're doing that, let's try to get some more. I found the notifications.
Right. So in the settings, I'm actually doing it with you, so I could help you. There should be a mute button.
I don't see it. Off. Hopefully I did it.
Keisha, if you go to settings and privacy and then
Yep.
go to notifications, it says mute push notifications and you just have to turn it on.
Does it say other notifications? Oh, push. Hopefully I did it. I haven't heard it.
Listen to you kind of.
Okay, cool. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Keisha. Thanks for bearing with me for a second. Like I said, I live in Vegas part-time and part-time San Diego. I'm a mom to 2. I have a 3-year-old and a 19-month-old. And life gets busy, let me tell you. And then I also have 2 bonus kids, a 4, well, almost 5 and 7. I did not do it. 5-year-old, but oh, it did it for me. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Life gets crazy busy. How many of you guys live busy lives, have kids, have jobs on top of doing Prove It? Yeah, that's my life too. So I'm excited to have you guys on here. I actually wanted to, and hopefully when I have this first person speak, I can figure out the notifications, but I'm going to go ahead and welcome our friend, Michelle Ramos. Is Michelle on here?
I'm here.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
Michelle, thank you so much for being on the call tonight. I would love to just see if you could just give us a quick minute, few minutes about your story and kind of how you got started on ketones.
Sure, no problem. So I'm Michelle. I live in San Diego. I'm a busy mom to 2 teenagers. I've been in the automotive industry as a corporate controller for 21 years, and Prove It found me in May 2020. And saying that, my friend Shaya was posting about her journey on social media, and I was so nervous to ask her what she was doing. And I finally got up enough courage to be like, girl, what are you doing? She sent me the campfire video. I watched it. I was floored. I ordered 2 boxes, and when I got those boxes, my life was saved. Like literally, I got those 2 boxes. Day 3, I felt the boom. Do you guys know what the boom is? Hopefully you do. Like your mood, your focus, your mental clarity, my energy, my teenagers, and my husband were like, ooh, no more grouchy mommy. I said, I have to tell the world about this. So I called Shaya and Katrina and Taryn and said, what is this? This is so amazing. I noticed the scale go down. I literally hopped on as a promoter on day 3, and it's the best thing I ever did. Like, Prove It literally saved my life. Shortly after my journey with Prove It, I lost someone really important to me. And then right after that, got a diagnosis of cancer for my dad. And I will tell you that the community of Prove It and what Prove It did for me literally got me through that. I have had the best year of my life professionally, personally. The scale's down 50 pounds of fat, so that's not bad either. And I just am so on fire to literally tell anybody I can about this amazing community and what Prove It did for me. So that's my story in a nutshell. A lot of people ask me why do you do this? And I just believe that we're all put on this earth for a purpose. And I say Prove It found me when I needed it most. I don't know if I would have been able to accept at that exact moment that it needed me, and I needed Prove It. So being in the corporate America for 21 years, I don't think that I have ever been invested in so much. The most amazing community, the people, the fun, the events, like it literally is life-changing. And I'm so excited for anybody that's on here and is on day 1 or 4 years or 3 years. Like, it is so amazing, and I'm blessed to tell the world about it. So that's my story, and I'm so excited I get to share it every day.
Oh, I love it so much. I think I figured it out. I'm an idiot.
Oh,
all you have to do is shut off Facebook. I'm like, why did I think of that? But that's seriously, Michelle, I think that's how many of you guys started that same journey where you just tried the product and it did something phenomenal for your personal health, well-being, to where you started to want to share it with your family and your friends. Post below if that has been it was a very organic, oh my gosh, I can't not share this, right? Because it's made such a tremendous effect on you and life-changing, all of you guys. And I think that says a lot about our product. Wouldn't you guys agree? Like, a product that sells itself, you can't help but to share it with your friends and family, because people are now seeing the difference it's made in you, and you've seen it in yourself. So it's like this domino ripple effect within our community. So that's so powerful, Michelle. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you so much. Okay, so our next speaker is Tracy Waltman. Tracy's from Florida, and she's also had an amazing transformation. Tracy, are you there?
Here.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good. I can barely hear you a little bit. Can you guys hear her? And you up a little bit, or maybe come closer to the.
Is that better?
Yes. Cool. Tracy, thanks for hopping on. If you same thing, if you could just give a little bit about your story and what got you started on ketones, and also how it kind of gradually got you into sharing.
Okay. So before ketones, I was exhausted all the time. Definitely, I work 16-hour days, so I felt like I was barely breathing, barely surviving. A coworker of mine kept running around the entire property like a crazy person, happy as could be, always just full of this energy and happiness. And I keep really making me kind of angry. I was like, why? How are you? We work the same job. We deal with the same stuff. How are you so happy all the time and so full of energy? And he told me about ketones. When I found out the price, I didn't really go for it right away because there's so many other things that I've tried that have failed me in the past. So I just kept living exhausted and hating my life. And then eventually I caved. I bought a box, and it's really history since then. It took about a week and a half for me to feel it, maybe 2 weeks before I felt it. But once that energy kicked in, my whole life changed. I started working out. I've now been drinking them for 4 months. I've lost 37 pounds. I went from a size 12 to a size 4. So many people just saw the mood change in me. Like, I was just happier. I had more energy. My mindset started being completely different. And it was really easy for me to find people to jump on board with me. And after I got my first 2 customers just to get the free ketones, he was like, dude, like, you need to become a promoter because you can make money off of all these people that want to join too. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I became a promoter. In my first month, I made $2,500 off the sales between the trials and the website sales. And now I'm in New Hampshire, took the month off on vacation, and I have my bills paid for this month and next month. All the Prove It events that are coming up are paid for from the money that I made through Prove It. So I don't know, it was a pretty great experience for me.
I would say you're on cloud 9 over there. I love it. And I love hearing some of these newer stories too, because for myself, I've been in for a little over 4 years, and sometimes I forget, like, I was just like everyone that's brand new right now, just trying to like loving the product and sharing it and trying to have people see what this is. So hearing it from people like yourself and what it's done for you, and you know, it's interesting because even making, you know, the 2,500 or even $100 or $500 for people is a huge deal, especially right now where the world is. So sometimes it's like a reality check of like, wow, I was pumping gas the other day and I'm like, I used to struggle putting $12 in my gas tank, right? And I forget, like, I'm in a different place now, so I have to like be in Zen and realize where I come from. Like, it wasn't just handed to me. There was definitely work and energy and time and lots of things put into it. So I appreciate your story and I appreciate you sharing. Thank you so much. All right, so our next speaker, and I hope I don't crush her name, Sienna Miles. Is Sienna Miles on? Sienna, are you there?
Oh,
No,
I think that's my bad there, Keisha.
Oh.
That one
Is that the last?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Sorry.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys sharing. Seriously, I think that when we, you know, share something like this, so on like this type of level, we don't realize the ripple effect and domino effect it can really have until it kind of starts happening. And then for me, being in as long as I've been, it makes me want to share more of the stories that keep flooding in where I'm like, I can't make this stuff up, you know, like this isn't just a product I get behind for a transaction or to make money. It truly is life-changing stuff that people haven't even experienced prior to ketones. So that being said, I wanted to hand the mic over to the one and only Nick Martinez. Nick has been doing this for quite some time. I have a very memorable memory with Nick. When I first got started, I got a chance to go to Costa Rica my first month, and I got to sit next to him. Well, I did get to sit next to him, but I was on the same plane as him. And I remember him going and upgrading me to first class on an airplane, which I had never, ever been in first class in my life. And that moment, I'm like, wow, these people are so generous to actually spend the money or spend the time and like invest in me and listen to my story on the plane. And so I want to hand the mic over to you, Nick. I seriously can't thank you enough for just your time, your energy, and what you pour into this team and collaborating with all of us and really trying and mentoring and helping us for better.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Keisha. Appreciate you being on tonight. You look amazing and you're doing awesome. So good to see all your faces. I mean, so many faces. This is really exciting. I'm really excited and fired up about this call. This is the first of many of these to come. We'll be doing this every single month, really to kick off the month. Next month, it will be the second week of the month because it's Labor Day. But after that, it'll always be the first kickoff call. It'll just be our community check-in. And one of the biggest values that we have at Prove It is our community. Like, one of the best things about our business is the people that we get to meet, the people that we get to connect with. And just hearing stories, from people tonight and more stories that you're gonna hear, to me, that's the lifeblood of why I do this, to hear stories like Michelle's or to hear stories like Tracy's, and to just understand the impact that we all get the ability to have on a daily basis if we choose to take it. So one of the neat things with this is it's not just helping people, because you can do that in many different ways. And it's not just a business, because you can go create a business in any different way. You kind of have the both of them, right? But you can't have one without the other. You can't go make money unless you help people. You can't help people unless you're going to make money in the process. So they kind of go hand in hand and they marry together well. And we truly have a platform that allows you to show up and actually pays you to step into who you are, not who somebody else is, right? Pays you well if you learn, and through some of the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, and maybe even coming to our event more that Keisha mentioned, if you learn how to truly step into your own personal power, truly step into the authentic version of you, the authentic version of me, you're saying me, pointing back at you, that's where magic starts to happen. So everything that we do from a community standpoint is to really help us just grasp that, come together, realize the power of this collective, and then at the same time to be able to move outward, right? And to go share what we have our hands on with people around us and watch as it starts to create that ripple effect that Keisha mentioned. So tonight we're going to do a few different things. One, I just want to recognize some stuff that happened last month, and I'm not going to go into as much detail as we will maybe in future months as we kind of kick these off closer to the month. But every single month we charge for something, right? We have carrots in our rewards plan, meaning little carrots on a stick that are saying, hey, if you did this, you're going to get this. And the purpose that we have those, the reason that we have promotions, the reason that we have Go Pro or Go MVP or MVP multiplier or even ranks is to allow us to have an ability to say, hey, maybe if I make a few more phone calls, I'll hit that and I'll get that $250 bonus. Or shoot, I've hit multiplier 2 months in a row now. If I hit it a third, I'm not just going to get 250, I'm going to get 1,000. So man, I better be a little bit more cognizant of the people that I'm around. I better go talk to that lady at the gym because I've been putting off talking to her for 3 months. Next thing you know, she's the next customer who then turns into your next promoter who hits Go Pro, Go MVP. And she happens to be one of the people on this Zoom sharing their story, all because you had that little extra incentive, that little extra drive to take action. So I love the drivers in our rewards plan because of that. So last month, we had a ton of people hit multiplier, and I don't have time on tonight's call to actually read all the names because literally it would take like 3 or 4 minutes, and I think you guys would all be a little bit bored. But if you hit multiplier, type in the chat, hit it, and whatever month in a row, if it was your third, type third, and if it was your first or second or whatever, wherever you were in that, just type multiplier, and let's celebrate everybody that hit it. Look at all these people that hit multiplier. That is awesome. Melissa, month 2, hit it 25 months in a row. I mean, the neat thing about the multiplier bonus is if you hit it, awesome. Like I'm giving you a virtual fist bump, high five, celebrating you. If you didn't hit it, if you ran for it, I'm giving you a virtual fist bump and a high five, right? It's one of those things where if you just sit back and you do nothing all month, okay, well, you got what was coming. But if you charged for it, I don't care whether you hit it or not. What I do care is the activity, the energy, the effort that you put on to get there, because the seeds that you planted last month, plus the seeds that you planted the month before that, plus the watering that you're going to do this month by connecting them, by inviting them to the calls that we have, by sharing the different videos that come out on Prove It's YouTube and Prove It TV, those seeds will then come to harvest, which eventually will yield multiplier in September or October, or maybe it's next year, right? It's all part of the process, and we're all on that journey together, and we're all in different stages of it. So I always believe in celebrating everybody where they're at, and also celebrating the effort that it took to get there. The next thing I want to kind of talk about and really just bring awareness to is our ranking system. And it's something that we don't do rewards plan calls. We don't do let's talk about the compensation plan and what percentage you earn on level 8. And I could recite that to you in my sleep. I used to read compensation plans for fun in the cockpit because it was boring up there, and compensation plans were interesting. I'm just weird like that. However, what's interesting about our rewards plan is Brian Underwood kind of created all the language around it. He's really big in language, and I've really come to believe that language is powerful. The words that we use are powerful. And if you notice, Prove It doesn't have like special names for each rank. You're not like a gold, diamond, ruby, or an intergalactic, stellar, superstar, double diamond, black something or other. You're a rank 1 through rank 10. What I don't like using is what I just said. You're a, oh, I am a rank 10. I am this. No, at the current point in time that month stopped, your business was a rank 8 business. Your business was a rank 7. You're not defined by the rank that you are, right? And Mitch might touch on some of that. But in my mind, if you decide that you're a legend in this company or decide that you're a rank 10 in this company, well, you're already that. Your business is just starting to catch up to you and where you're going. Okay, so the purpose of our ranking system is to really be able to take a snapshot of where your business is at this point in time, right? You're not defined by that. You can allow that to grow. Maybe it's growing into you. Maybe you need to grow into it. Okay, but what's neat about a ranking system is it allows you to have a benchmark of where you're at today so that you can now apply what we're going to talk about, plug into our system, share this product. And then over time, guess what? Next month, we have these things called stars. You're at rank 2 in July, and now you're going to rank 2 1 star. Then you're rank 2 3 star. Next thing you know, you're rank 3, but you didn't just hit rank 3. Now you're rank 3 1 star. Now you're shooting for rank 4. Right? So it is the ability to take note. Okay, I'm here now. Now here's where I want to go. Knowing that all it is judging your business for that month. It's creating a snapshot of where it is. Now in that, I believe in celebrating every little victory possible. Right? I believe in you hitting rank 2 1 star and you're celebrating it like you just like you just struck gold, because it is that. And if you develop that level of passion, excitement, and energy around that, guess what will start to happen? It will unfold. It will attract more people and your business will continue to grow. I remember my first check in network marketing was $26 whole. And I remember thinking, holy smokes, you know how much money I'd have to have into the bank to earn $26 in residual income or in interest? And at the time, I think it was paying like 0.05% or something. It was like $100,000. I'm like, sweet, I'm rich. I got a business that's paying me residual income more than any money that I have in the bank currently, right? So we celebrate all areas. So in the chat, if you ranked up last month, I'd love for you to share. If you went from rank 2 to 1 star, just type whatever rank you hit for the first time last month. If you hit a new rank, 2 1 star, 3 star, 4 star, no, there's not 4 stars, that'd be the next rank. Rank 3, rank 4, rank 5. If anybody had any sort of rank advancement, just type it in the chat. And I'd love for you guys just to celebrate those who have. Tracy hit 2. Congratulations, Tracy. That is fantastic. There's so many. The reports to pull are really hard to pull with everybody, especially with stars and all sorts of different things. So share, celebrate yourself. Don't be bashful or shy. Congratulations, Aaron, Justine, way to go. I know we had some new rank 6s on the team, some new ranks 5s, and things are moving forward, which is awesome. Now, here's the thing. What we love to do is celebrate last month, and then at the same time, double down on the action and the activity and move forward this month in order to really create some momentum and some energy in our business. Now, maybe you're in a position right now where your business went up really fast and then it went like this, and maybe it dropped a couple. Well, honestly, that's okay. That's actually a good thing. A settling is just an awareness that your business is in this spot, and then you get to identify different areas that you may either need to grow in or activities that you can do in order to move it to the next level. So our businesses always grow to the level that we're at personally, and then we become the ceiling for it. Sometimes our business will grow past us, and then it will eventually correct itself and fall back to where we're at. So if we want to continue growing our business, one of the things that we want to focus on is growing ourselves. So congratulations for everybody who has ranked up over this last month. Really, really exciting month. And I can't believe we're already 9 days into the month of August. It's flying by. Before you know it, we'll be having the same call in September. We'll be celebrating again and really looking forward again. So tonight I want to go through a couple of things, because I truly believe that if you learn to master the simplicity of our business, anything's possible. If you overcomplicate it, which is a normal human tendency, because our brain likes to take what's simple and make it complicated. Our brain looks for excuses of why it's not working. And then we try to find the secret, which there is no secret. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then we keep searching. Oh, what if, man, it's not growing fast enough. It's not growing like hers. I must be doing something wrong. What's she doing? Not realizing that she came to the business with maybe slightly different transferable skills than you have, or maybe a network that had been built over the last 5 years Whereas when I got started, I didn't have much of that in this style of business. So here's what I want to talk about. And I really believe this, this is a powerful concept. So if you have a piece of paper, this is something that you can write down. And it's this. It's kind of an equation. I love equations. If you take a system, you multiply it, or you add it to a rhythm, and then you multiply it by your inner game, that's going to equal success. And I believe, stick around our community long enough, your definition of success will really start to shift, especially as you grow in this business. And you'll realize you'll stop defining your success based upon other people and instead based upon you and where you're currently at and where you're currently going. So Mitch just did a call on the inner game this morning on our Huddle call, which is part of our system. But if you missed that, you might want to watch the replay. It's really powerful. He's going to be on here in a few minutes to chat a little bit about that. But let me say that again. The system plus the rhythm multiplied by your inner game equals a success, which as your business grows and as you grow, your definition of that will shift. So let me talk about each piece of that. System. I once heard this acronym and always stuck with me. It's a little bit cheesy, but it makes sense, right? System stands for what? Save yourself time, energy, and money. So if we have a system that you can plug into, guess what? You're going to save yourself time, energy, and money. We have an amazing system and it's right at our fingertips, right? It's like literally the question is at what level are you plugging into our system? And tonight I want to spend a few minutes talking about that to really create an awareness, because I don't think all of us truly understand. We talk about it a lot on the champ calls. We talk about it maybe in smaller pockets, but as a community-wide, do you know that you have a system that you can plug into? And literally, if you enrolled a new promoter today and all you did was say, here, I'm going to plug you into our system, and they went like this, like they could be successful because of the system, the ecosystem that is built, if they choose to use it. If I don't choose to use it, I just choose to do everything over here all by myself, outside of the community, outside of the stories and the energy that you see on this Zoom, how successful or how long do you think they will last in this business? Probably not very long. So let me talk a little bit about kind of this system that we have. It really consists of a few different things, and we're actually going to go through a couple of them in detail here in a minute. But there's one component, it's called ACE. Anybody want to type what ACE means in the chat? Like, this is a simple system. Sometimes people think it's oversimplified, but the reality is it is this simple. I don't know if you saw the champ tip of the day earlier this month from my sister, Christina Martinez Williams, with her daughter in it, where her daughter said, hey, why haven't you talked to those ladies over there at the pool about ketones? And she's like, I don't know, I'm not going to. Her daughter convinced her to. She went over there, had a great conversation. Both ladies ended up coming to her house, buying 20 servings of ketones from her, 10 each. And now they're like in the process of becoming a customer. She followed ACE. She attracted them. She texted them a video, connected them with something. She got them an experience of the product. And now she's enrolling them in what we're doing in our calls and stuff. So that's the system. It works. Is that complicated? No. Is that something any of us can't do? Right. So that's first part of the system. The other part is really kind of our ecosystem as a community of the things that we have at our fingertips to make sure we plug into. First part of this, I just want to talk about our call calendar, because at first glance, you might look at this and say, oh gosh, I don't have time for this. I don't want to be on all these calls. But if you really look at them for what they are and why, and you understand the purpose behind them and the system that they create, you'll realize that you don't actually need a lot of time. All you need to do is plug into what we're doing, and the business just takes care of itself. So the first call that we have every week is our Monday Huddle call, right? Raise your hand if you were on that this week or this morning. Okay, if you missed it, you can check out the replay. It was super powerful, super valuable. Think of this as our overarching team-wide, with Michael Rutherford's team-wide kind of vision call. If you've ever wondered, like, okay, how do I get through? I was on a great coaching call today with a new promoter that's rocking it. She's like, do you ever have days where you feel like you just want to quit? You ever have days where you're just wondering if it's going to work? I'm like, absolutely. I mean, every other week in the beginning of this business. or every other day in the beginning of this business. Well, guess what? How do you get through that? She was asking. I'm like, part of it's seeing a larger vision. And every Monday when Michael Rutherford speaks, he casts a larger vision for what we're doing and why. And you get to see more of the community. You get to see more of other people's whys and where they're going and what they've accomplished, realizing if they can do it, I can do it. And through that, I'm telling you, if we can all plug our people in consistently with it, guess what happens? It raises the vision collectively of all of us, which then raises the activity that we're taking, raises the stickability. Instead of finding excuses of why we shouldn't do this or why it's not going to work for me, I keep moving forward and keep going forward. Okay. The second call that we just implemented it this month, and it's probably, I'm more fired up about this call than maybe anything else. And the person that's going to be leading it this week is actually on with us tonight. So instead of me explaining what it is, Coach Rebecca, where are you at?
Hey,
There
hi.
you are.
How are you?
Share with us, maybe introduce yourself real quick and tell everybody what this Tuesday at noon Eastern time call is and why they want to participate.
Woo! Okay, so I'm Coach Rebecca. I live in New Hampshire. I've been with Prove It since November of 2018. Started building the business, had some tragedy happen in my life, let my business fall by the wayside, came back with a vengeance and haven't stopped talking about it since. I am a champ here on this team and I am super stoked to see everybody here. So Tuesday at noon Eastern, we're actually going to have it's going to be like a live action 20 minutes of where I'm going to give you scripts to use on how to invite people to come and take a look at a presentation on Wednesday night, or is it called Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday at noon. We're going to do
it's Wednesday, not Tuesday.
Listen, I followed Nick's lead. Forgive me. I followed Nick's lead. I shouldn't do that. I knew it was Wednesday. Wednesday at noon Eastern, we're going to do 20 minutes of high action inviting. I'm going to give you scripts to use to reach out to people who maybe have never tried ketones before, people who have tried a trial, people who are already drinking ketones, and we're going to invite them to come and check out a presentation, a quick call on Wednesday night that has really valuable information and powerful stories shared, because that might be the one call that they need to hear to say yes to this product, to this community, to this opportunity. So we're going to come together and we're going to celebrate every single yes that you get. And we're going to celebrate every time that you send out an invitation to somebody, because every no that you get is closer to that yes that you're looking for. So we're going to do it as a team and as a community. And we're going to reach out to as many people as we can and see how we can pack the line for Wednesday night.
I love it. Thank you, Rebecca. And congratulations on this weekend. Have fun. So what's amazing about this is it's simple, right? She said a 20-minute call. It was led last week by Christina Martinez-Williams, and it was 20 minutes, and all we did was invite to the call that was that night, the guest call, which is probably the simplest way that you could possibly build this business. So let's talk a little bit about what this is. Raise your hand if you've been on a guest call. If you've not heard one of these guest calls, my challenge is to you to get on one, hopefully Wednesday night. But this Wednesday night, it's going to be hosted by Keisha. So Keisha, share with us just a little bit about why you love these calls and maybe how you've utilized them and what you've seen as a result of them.
So personally, I had a lot of success when I invite to these calls. The reason being is the type of stories that come from these calls might resonate with the person you invite to the call more so than your personal story. So whether it's with fat loss, or maybe it's somebody that's sleeping for the first time, or maybe it's a tired mom that is just struggling to find energy, they're super powerful when it comes to the story. And then even I know for me, when I share, I get excited sharing about what the product's done so much for me that I share about why I decided to share it as a business without it being weird or being like, you should come join my team. You're going to make all this money. Like there's a lot of that going on with other companies. So what I like about these calls is the real stories, the organic stories, the ones that people are like, I really was skeptical and didn't see myself doing one of these. Raise your hand if that was you. And now you're doing one of these. So it's very relatable. It's very real. And I think that when people share on these calls, the person that the viewer that is watching it can really relate to them. And then they see themselves in their shoes of like, wow, what if this actually did work? What if this product worked? Not only that, what if I could make that extra $200, $500 to help pay for my kids' soccer or my cell phone bill or the gas? So I think it's very powerful to utilize these calls as much as you guys can. I know for me, I want to get back in the habit inviting more to that. So I'm excited for the invite call. So I would say and you don't have to make it weird. When you guys get into the habit of inviting people, it doesn't have to be like this script, come to this opportunity call at whatever time. You can make it, and Rebecca and some of us will teach you on how to invite where it isn't weird, where it sounds like, wow, Keisha really wants me to get on this call because she's got something that might work for me, because I know my friend's whatever challenge in her health, or maybe someone on that call story is going to empower her to want to work from home, right? Like, or want to be at home more with their kid, like whatever it is. So I say, like, balls to wall, let's go and invite the heck out of our network and community.
Awesome. Thank you, Keisha. That's it. Last week, we implemented this and we had an amazing turnout for the guest call last Wednesday night. And it just works. Honestly, if all you did was plug in on Wednesday and invite people, and you just had one day a week to work, you had 20 minutes, and maybe you were going to hop on the call with your guests, you could build this business. Like, you really, really could. The rest of the week, you just started to create attraction, whether it was posting on social media, wearing swag, and just meeting people and then putting them on this. Like, that's how simple this business is. So in that, we also have a call on Friday. And again, it's not about you having to be available at this specific time. All of these will be recorded. I'm going to encourage you, show up live, right? Sometimes people don't want to say that the call's recorded because then people won't show up. But I'm telling you, it's better if you can be there live. However, if you can't, I get it. We all have lives, jobs, and things going on. So there's plenty of calls that I have missed, and then I catch the recordings. I put an earbud in while I'm walking the dog, or I put an earbud in at my desk and I get to work. So the next opportunity to connect with our community is on Fridays, and it is an action hour. And we take time basically going through different actions that we can take. And also whoever is leading that call might give you a couple tips that you haven't heard before. So it's showing up with an open mind and also showing up with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to take action and I'm going to get some stuff done today. Now, this Friday is going to be hosted by Sassy Shay and Ashley Riddle. But Sassy, I'll call you Shay. Come off mute. That's what your screen says. Every time I look at your face, it says Sassy Shay. So I just have to say it. But why do you think the action hours are important? And I don't know, what's going on this Friday?
Hey y'all, so my name is Shay and I've been in this Prove It family for 3 years, and it is a family more to me than a community. And full transparency and disclosure here, when I joined, I didn't think that I needed to listen to anyone's calls or anything. It was action. I was like, I'm in my 50s. I know how to do this. I'm funny. I'm personable. I don't need this. And I saw myself, like, when you get in trouble at school and you do this, I was like, I feel horrible. So when Nick says, what's the importance of getting on these calls? One, you get to brainstorm and work with a wealth of people in this community because everybody has different ideas, different skill sets. And once it's like buying a soda that you shouldn't have and you want to keep coming back for more. That's how these action hour calls are, because you get to see other people, you get to sit and do the action. And if you have questions, you can hop off of mute or pop it in the chat. And to me, it's the A part of ACE, is what you heard Nick talk about. Me, if your attractor factor is like fire and you portray that in your postings or whatever action that we're giving you, people are going to be like, I want what she's selling. I'm buying what she's selling. I'm selling what she's buying. Like, what is this? And it creates that curiosity. So A is not only for attraction, but it's also your attractor factor that you're putting into this business in your community. And my biggest thing is people want to see real people. So if your life is a poop show They want to see that because there's a lot of people with poop show lives and they're like, I'm drowning. I need what can I get into? What's going to help me? And we have it. We have the solution. People vent so much about things. And I say, do you want to vent? I'm here for you. But if you're looking for a solution, me and my entire empire and this community can totally help you. We have a solution for you. So get on the action calls. They're fun. We get to see your amazing faces, whether you're put together or you're just got a baby on your hip. Like Nick said, put an earbud in. And this Friday is going to be really exciting because I learned a secret about Facebook because Uncle Mark's not being very nice. And he has these keywords that he searches for. And when you have those, he filters your post and no one sees them. And that discourages me because I was like, I posted this 2 hours ago. Why do I have one view? So I have a whole list of words that you don't want to use and what you replace them with, because we're going to beat that whole system on social media. So come and join me on Friday. And I promise you'll learn some new stuff and take that into action. Tell your teams, if you don't have a team, that's okay. Tell everybody else that you're going to be there because they feed off of your energy. Do as I say, not as I do. Is that the saying? I was guilty of that. I'd be like, oh, go do this, go do that. And they're like, well, where are you? So be present and be in the moment and just do it.
I love it. Thank you, Sassy. That's going to be fun. Can't wait. So like if you start to see this system that is built, we have the huddle call, right? To create a larger vision for what we're doing, to expand our thinking. We have our invite call and our guest call to give us an opportunity to make sure that everybody's connected on a consistent basis. We actually have an action call that helps us take action, helps us know what to do so that we can do it the rest of the week. And then on Saturdays, we have our Prove It Progress Live within the Prove It Promoter page. And that's like an even larger community, right? That's the entire team Prove It at large. And there's tons of different voices. So you're going to hear from people that are not me. You're going to hear from people that are not your team leader or the champ that you're working with, that might speak a little differently, you might just hear something in a certain way that makes that 1 degree shift that changes it. So I would encourage you, it's live, go tune in live if you can, but just watch it if you can't. And I'm telling you, as long as you can plug into that, like that kind of completes this ecosystem or this system that I'm talking about. The other pieces of that, the other components, of course, you have the pulse, you're all here. Make sure that you're plugging into that. The champ tip of the day is something new that we are having fun with this month. If you guys like it, we'll keep doing it, but they've been really valuable. I know I've been getting some great tips. Have you guys been seeing those come through the Pulse? Some of you? Okay, that's good. If you haven't, download the Pulse app. The other piece that we have is our Better Starts Here 2021 group. If you're not a member of that, go request access, work with your team leader to get into there. But there's just all sorts of content and training. Calls like this are archived in there. Resources that you want to have access to are in that group. So make sure that you're just plugged into what we're doing there. Maddie V does a great job of just keeping that moving. So that's kind of the system to begin with. We can dive into that more even on another call because there's some other components of it, but I just want you to see that as a high level, right? If you plug into that, this business becomes simple, right? It's just simple activities that we're doing. We're creating the attraction. We're connecting them to the tools and resources that we have, and we're then plugging other people into our community. Now, take that a step further. It was a system plus our rhythm. And I want to talk about the rhythm real quick because this is something that's near and dear to me. It's the rhythm of how Prove It does things. Now, if you've been in, I remember seeing 3 months, 5 months, 6 years. Type real quick again how long you've been part of our community as a promoter. Type it in the chat. All right, I see 18 months, 3 years, 4 years, 3 months, 8 months, 7 months, 2 months, 3 years. I mean, we got the whole gamut. If you've been here longer than 30 days, you've probably noticed that there's a rhythm to how things are done, right? There's a reboot that's available at the beginning of the month. There's a reboot that takes place on the Sunday that ends in 18th. You want to know when the reboot is? What's the Sunday that ends in 18th? I think it's the 18th this month. It's the 15th next month. Just go look at the calendar and look at the 10th. And you'll find somebody taught me that, and it actually works. I think it's like 99% accurate. There's a reboot that happens. There's now the Drink Ketones challenge, which we're doing for 10 days as a community, which is part of that rhythm. There's a 24 fast in there there's new flavors that come out, right? And then there's sales. Now, sometimes you can see it as scattered, like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on. I don't know what to talk about and I don't know what to do. And I get that because there is a lot going on, but it's a positive, a lot going on, right? Think about that. What if you were in a business? I was part of a business once where we had one product for 2 years. We added another one. We had that product for a year and then we added another one. And by the time I left 4 years later, we had 4 things. We didn't have different flavors of those 4 things. It was just those 4 things. We never had sales. We never had promotions. All we did was talk about those 4 things. That's it for 4 years, right? We've had 4 new things that have launched in the last 60 days or 45 days. And why do we have that? To create attraction, to create conversation. Brian knows that if we want to keep this business alive and keep it growing and thriving, we have to stimulate conversation, and people get bored very easily. So I want to talk real quick through the rhythm, through what the calendar looks like, and how if you see it this way, instead of being overwhelmed by it, you can relish it. You can love the rhythm that we have. Okay, so beginning of the month, Reboot is available. It's sometimes available 5 days, sometimes available 8 days. It just depends. Go to rebootnow.com and it will tell you, or go to shopketo. Well, ShopKeto is not currently working. Go to drinkyoursample.com and you will see a ticker that will tell you how many days it's available. People always ask me, how many days is it available? I'll say, well, let me go check. What do? I go to the website. You can do that too. Lead yourself, right? So that's the first thing. Reboot's available. Guess what? We talk about the reboot when the reboot is available. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to do this month's reset. Join some of the action hours during that time and they'll be giving you action around the reboot. Okay, next thing that is happening is 10 days prior to the reboot beginning, the challenge is starting. That gives us an opportunity. It'll give us an opportunity at the end of this month to sell the challenge, to talk about how, hey, in September, do you want to join me for the Drink Ketones Challenge? Okay, and as a result, that gives you the ability to have some energy around it. I'm looking for people to join my challenge community. It's going to be so much fun. We can go through exactly how to post and how to create attraction about that. But if you think about it, that creates a reason to have conversation. It creates a stimulus for me to have conversation with new people. If that makes sense, type makes sense in the chat. So I know you guys are listening. Now, in between those two things, because that's kind of what we're doing as a community, right? We have different flavors. And flavors are amazing, right? They also come out quite a bit. But if you think about it, flavors generally speaking, they'll come out Thursday or Friday for the weekend, and then they'll do it again the next week. So my guess is you might see something on Thursday or Friday, because guess what? You saw something last Thursday or Friday, and there's something the Thursday, Friday before that. And if you go back and look at all the promotional calendars, you'll see that there's a rhythm. Sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes it's Wednesday, but I'm telling you, it's generally in that vicinity. So if you know that, you can say, all right, I can't wait till the new flavor comes out. It's going to be fun. We're going to create some attraction with it. And then what happens? Well, we offer our customers the ability to go buy a box. Oh, you can't grab a box. Hey, I'm grabbing some extras. Do you want to buy 5 or 10 from me? Leading with the product, allowing this to be a downsell or something to serve them, right? And you can create an amazing rhythm with that. The goal here is that you can keep buying these boxes and you don't go flavor broke. Instead, you're paying for all of the ketones that you're drinking by the samples that you're selling of them. And we'll do more specific training on that as we go. The other piece of our rhythm are % off sales. Now, here's the thing. Anytime there is a lull, and there's always some sort of lull, right? The reboot is no longer available. The sweet tea lemonade, it may or may not be still available. I'm not sure. There's probably going to be a 2 or 3 day lull between now and the end of the week when something else happens. What do? Fill the gaps with trial packs. Fill the gaps with trial packs. Trial packs will always fill the gaps. Because if you fill the gaps with your trial packs and you're talking about, hey, I would love for you to experience ketones. Do you want 5 or do you want 10 servings? Hey, I know you were interested last week. I actually just happened to get some more trial packs in the mail. I'm running a special today for anybody that grabs them. They're $5 off. Would you like one? Have fun with it. Create marketing around it. Guess what will happen? You'll sell some of those. And then guess what that will fuel? That will fuel the sale that drops. When, oh my gosh, the store is 25% off, even though they can get 22% off on a normal day if they want. All right, they have a Smart Chip active and they have $150 in their cart. I'm telling you, but that 25% off sale, like I'm screaming from the rooftops, like it's Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And guess what? People love it. People love to buy. They hate to be sold, but when there's something on sale, they want their ketones. And people will go in when it's 25% off and they'll buy 8 boxes of ketones, even though they just bought 3. They're drinking it more than I am, apparently. But here's what the deal is. If you fuel that with the trial packs, then you'll always have something to go on when you have the sale, right? So we have the flavors, we have the sales. And then the only other, like the other aspect of the month is the fact that we're doing the reboot. When you do the reboot, you talk about the reboot, you talk about how hungry you are, and you create attraction. It's available right then and there, or you can build your list for the next month if they're not ready. But if you're talking about it, it gives you an opportunity to talk about it while you're doing it. It's an excuse. I love it. It gives me a free reign to talk about the reboot as much as possible because I'm doing it. Same with the Drink Ketones Challenge. You have 10 days. You don't have to post about it every single day. But I'm telling you, if you're doing the burpees challenge and you had to do 50 burpees or 47 burpees if you were in that unlucky age, well, shoot, that sounds like some great social media fodder that you could use, and you'd create some attraction and some fun around it. People will probably be like, what the heck is she doing all those burpees for? Now you've created new conversations. So that is a very high level. We'll do a more in-depth call on some specifics on that. But if you can see that, then now you can see a path forward of, okay, this is what we do. This is why. And there's really there's a lot of rhyme and reason to it all. It's just a matter of seeing it as a big picture and then being able to move forward. So that is our rhythm. Okay. So remember, it's the system plus the rhythm times, you put the little parentheses around there. You got to add those together first and then multiply that by your inside game, and that equals success. So the inside game, I really want to talk about very briefly. There was a longer call today, which you'll get to go and hear more about. But here's what's cool. Mitch Newman, who ran the Huddle call for Michael Rutherford's entire team, which is like 50% of the entire company, Improve It. He is in our community. He is in your back pocket. You literally have him as a resource, right? And he's probably one of the most underutilized individuals in our community. And he's like, here, I'm here, guys. All I got to do is ask. All I got to do is call. You need some support, I'm here. And then he's put together amazing resources and tools for us to plug into. And I'm going to have him share those with you because they're also part of our system. But I think they're such a powerful piece. They deserve to be set aside as the X factor, the multiplication part of the inside game. So Mitch, what's happening? Tell us a little bit about inside game / manifest mastery and how people can not only access you, but just access more of themselves.
Listen, Nick, I don't know if anybody else, but I'm still recovering from the fact that you're flying a plane and you're bored and you're doing something else besides flying a plane. I'm still recovering from that. So I might need a few more minutes. No, in all seriousness, listen, the inside game, if you weren't on the call this morning, it was pulsed out. So hopefully you had a chance to listen to it, but it's really about how do we prepare our minds and our hearts to go out and do things? It's like being a human being and then a human doing. And what is it that we put in place? What are the tools that we are able to utilize so that we have an inside game, which is what all of our personal development stuff, all of the things that we may be doing to get our head and our hearts in alignment. And that's a critical component. What ends up happening is that fuels then the activity and the action, because you raise your energy, you raise your enthusiasm, you raise your frequency, and then all of a sudden now everything we talk about, all the ABCs and all of the different things that Nick's sharing, all of those things then all of a sudden make sense. And we're able to do them with great fluidity, and we're not sitting there judging ourselves and wondering, what people are thinking about us. Why? Because we're good with us, like we're good inside. And that's the key component here in understanding what the inside game is all about. I have a couple things that I do for the community and for our team. They're out there. I don't make any money on these things. I have a podcast called Mondays and Mitch. I drop an episode every Monday. I don't take a lot of your time. It's 15 to 20 minutes. I very rarely go over 20 minutes. Why? Because people do podcasts and they say, oh, you should listen to my podcast. It's 2.5 hours long. Well, If you're listening for me to 2.5 hours in a day, you need to do something else with your life. So I want to get you in. I want to get you out. It's all about conscious leadership. It's all about the way you lead yourself and then subsequently lead other people. And starts from the basic premise that we're all leaders. We're always leading. Whether we're effective or not, different story. But if you're mastering your inside game and you're working on your inside game, you're going to find there's going to be great level of mastery that you'll be able to create on your external game, your outside game. So those two work. I also do manifest mastery. For those of you who don't know about it, I did a little bit of a live in Better Starts Here. So if you want to find out some more about it, you can do that. But basically, it's a 30-minute start to finish, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday runs a little bit longer because we do a Q&A. But I lead people in a kind of it starts off as a bit of a guided meditation, but the idea, it's about manifesting. What is it that you want to create? What is it that you want to be a part of? It's free. It's available to you. My entire family is involved in this because somebody's keeping the dogs quiet. My daughter's running music. It's a family affair. But I love giving back because that's what set up for me, my own meditation practice, my own manifestation, my own mental rehearsal stuff that I did, set up my success, as you would say, both inside and outside for my time in Prove It so far. And I'm here over 6 years. So it's available to you. I have two people on, Jamie and Nikki, who can talk a little bit about it. I just want them to come off. You guys, I don't know, whoever wants to come off first, but I want you to hear from some people that participate in it, so you get a sense of what you're getting. And then if you want to try it out, you want to stop by, we'd love to have you. So Jamie, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Mitch. Hi, guys. My name's Jamie. For those of you who don't know me, I have been in this family. Shay, I'm going to take your word because it's so true, since September 2019, and it has just been amazing since then. So everything that everybody talked about was great, but like inside game was something that I didn't know was something I needed to work on. I didn't know what like conscious leadership was. I had no idea what any of that meant. So I wanted to talk to you guys about what Manifest Mastery has done for me. So for those of you who have never, ever done anything like this before, drop a MM in the chat. So if you have not plugged in to Mitch's Manifest Mastery, drop an MM in the chat because you are in for a treat. So I have never meditated before. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I've never meditated, I'm not quite sure if this is for me, this is for you. Okay. If you're someone who's like, oh, I can't relax, I can't do this, I can't do that, you can keep telling yourself that. Just come do it and come watch. And it's just this magical connection that you feel with everybody who is behind the screen. You feel like you're a family, and you really do sink into this place in your mind, and you start manifesting what you want, and you put this feeling of gratitude behind the things that you want in the future, but you're feeling them now because they're happening now, right? And what that feeling creates and what it does for me throughout the day is anytime, like, is anyone out there a parent? If you're a parent, let me know. Like, you feel yourself start to like everything starts to get red and your heart starts to beat fast, and you feel yourself, you just like turn your Mitch moment back on, and you get yourself like right back into that moment of gratitude. And I am so overwhelmed by that feeling every day of being able to regulate myself and get back into that feeling, that doing this meditation has ripple effect, has gone into my family. So something that, you know, my husband used to look at me and be like, oh God, what is she doing? He now participates in this. And that was really a beautiful moment last week that my family started doing this. My daughters are 3 and 4, and they asked, can we meditate? This isn't just a thing for you. This is something that your whole family will feel shifting in your life, that they'll feel that energy, they'll feel that difference in you, and they'll want that. And the best part is Mitch said it, it's free, but it is priceless. What you get to do while you are in it is up to you. It's you're the actor, you're the director, you're the everything in your own movie, and being able to feel all of the things, manifest them, have them happen now, and be able to go back to that feeling so many times throughout the day, throughout the week, and just get yourself back in it has just been absolutely life-changing for me. So if you guys haven't done it,
I want you guys, literally, it's 10 a.m. Eastern on, what is today, Monday? So Wednesday morning, try your hardest to get on and feel this magic, because it's something that you need to feel 100%. So Mitch, I'm going to turn it over to Nikki Kabala.
Hi guys, everybody can hear me? We're good? Good, good. All right, so I've been doing this for 18 months, not the Manifest Mastery, but with Prove It. And the ketones are great. We all know fat loss, focus, we know the whole deal, but I was missing something. I was still having challenges with feelings, and I was postpartum, so very ragey and just not the kind of mom and wife I wanted to be. And Shay talked about how we all have a poop show. Take your poop show and multiply it times 1,000. I have a lot going on in my life that would make anyone crazy. And I'm going to tell a very tiny story. The reason I know this process works is because I was at basketball practice with my son, my husband, and my baby, who had just learned to walk. So we're watching basketball and going back and forth, watching the baby. And I had just gotten this new cup with my ketones in it. It made the experience so nice. I loved this cup. It brought me so much joy, this stupid little cup. And I filled it full of my keto up, and I sat it on the table. I went after the baby, and my husband and I came back and sat down, and his elbow knocked over my cup and it fell to the ground and it shattered. And there's a lot of people there, a lot of parents, a lot of kids. And he looked at me, and I could feel the scared feeling of like, oh shit, she's gonna flip. He was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's fine. He's like, what? I said, it's truly fine. It's okay. It's just a cup. And he's looking at me. He's like, are you just saying that because there's other people here? Like, when we get home, you're going to freak out, right? I'm like, it's just a cup. I'll get another one. And I know that without this process, I would not have been able to be mindful and say, it's just a cup. I would have completely lost my mind. And he's sitting back there listening, but it's true. And it was such a moment for me to realize that that's why this works. For me to not lose my ever loving mind over the little cup, which is not a big deal to most people, was huge. And so I made it a non-negotiable that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m., you could bet I got an ear pod in. I don't care if there's a baby screaming, kids in the bathroom clogging the toilet, I'm there, because it changed my life. It gave me so much more, that missing piece that the ketones and the community give me. I feel whole, well, and complete, in the words of our Mitch Newman. So thank you. And I better see all 137 of your faces on Wednesday.
Hey, so if I'm hearing you accurately, what I'm hearing you say, since you've been doing Manifest, man, look at Nick's going, what is he going to do? Since you've been doing Manifest Mastery, would you say that your cup runneth over?
I love that. Very much so.
I'm just saying, look, you walked into that. I could not sit on that. I couldn't do it. As Nick shakes his head, flying an airplane and reading a book at the same time. Love it. Listen, I posted it. Let's see, should be in there. Let's see, did it work? Hold on. The information is, yes, I posted the information in there. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. It's like 30 minutes. And then Friday, we do a Q&A afterwards, because I want people to share wins. I want people to ask questions and do all that stuff. So it's probably an hour. You can participate. You don't have to participate. But I just want you to understand, like, we want to create opportunities for you, because we look at you as a whole person. We don't look at you as, what have you done for my business lately? That's just not how we operate. We look at you as a whole person. You've got stuff. We all have stuff. I got stuff. We all have families and things and stuff that's going on with all that. It can be distracting and all of it. We want to keep your head in the game. We want to keep your heart in the game, knowing that you're going to have stuff, something that kind of guides you back to center, that allows you to more fully participate, all of you, and bring all of your skills, all of your transferable skills, all of your heart, all of your thoughts, all of your creativity, all of your leadership to this community. That's what makes us a community. That's how this works. That's why this works. That's why it's sustainable and long lasting. So love to see you guys show up. If it resonates for you, come check it out. Nobody's been injured to date that I'm aware of in doing the process, so you don't have to worry about pulling anything or breaking anything. We're pretty gentle, and we'll just love on you, and hopefully you'll be able to chance to come check us out on Wednesday. So Nick, brother, back to you.
Awesome. That's fantastic stuff. So you keep talking about the airplane. When I was in flight school, one of the things that we learned what to do or how to fly the airplane was chair flying. And some kids took it seriously, some kids didn't. I was one of those that I'm like, well, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I pass my flight school. And I would sit in my dorm room with my eyes closed, flying the airplane and flying these different maneuvers, going through all the different procedures, yanking, banking, using the rudder, doing whatever, whether it was a lazy 8 or a Chandelle steep turn stalls, to learn it. So what did I like? So it was interesting. I was already applying that stuff, but not in any other area of my life. No one's ever told me, Nick, you can actually create your future if you spend time creating a vision of it and spend time like in the place of what it looks like, what it feels like. I did that every day to fly an airplane, never applied it to my life. Moment I learned that I could do that to my life, I'm like, no way, that's really cool. I got to do this. And guess what happened as a result? I became amazing at life as I am as a pilot. Not so much, but it absolutely shifted the trajectory of my business. It shifted the trajectory of my relationships and things that I've been doing. So this piece is really near and dear to me, and I'm passionate about it. So Mitch, thank you so much for all that you do for our community, and we appreciate you. And guys, check it out. Let that be the X factor, the multiplication of what we just talked about. So I understand that we've been on here for an amazing hour and 10 minutes. This call is just so powerful. I'm really excited for this community to come together more often and more consistently. We will be doing some stuff to just check back in on some of the things that we talked about tonight. One of the things we're not going to have enough time for here tonight, Maddie V has been working tirelessly behind the scenes on a promoter kind of onboarding training website, which would relieve some of our like individual stress around, hey, or teach me how to use my referral code or teach me how to send my link. Well, guess what? What if there's a resource and a tool that was very specific, quick and easy for you to send somebody? I see a bunch of nods. What if then you could use your time to build relationships, to help them share, to like really, okay, let me help you actually make that first post because they already had a video or a tool that said, this is what you're going to do. And now get back with the person that enrolled you. They're going to hold your hand and walk you through this instead of maybe you taking an hour and a half on the phone to walk them through their back office. So stay tuned to that. Maddie, I'm looking for your face. Are you on here? There he is. What's up?
Yo.
I mean, in 60 seconds or less, how's it going? What you working on? It's going to be amazing. I know it.
What's up, everybody? I'm Maddie from San Clemente. Thanks, Nick. You guys have just smashed this call. I guess to keep it short and sweet, it's simple. Like, who wants legends to build their business for them, right? Like, I do. I want Nick to build my business. I want Mitch to build my business. I want Keisha to build my business. So what we've done is we've put all the greatest together and we're packaging it all up to you in a nice bundle where it's going to be super and easy for you to help new promoters get onboarded, get started. And it's going to go through everything, right? Like DMOs, the plays that work, ACE, like the system that Nick just covered. It's going to be in one easy, simple place for you to just push out to everybody. So under 60 seconds, stay tuned for that. We want to do a massive push around this. So keep an eye out. Once it's ready to go, you guys will see it through the pulse. And we just want to do a big push. So thank you guys for staying in with all the communications and plugging into all the replays and calls. Any other tools or resources or tech stuff that you have, shoot me a message and we'll add it to the list.
Awesome. So for those of you guys who have not yet met Maddie, you see his name come through the pulse all the time. We'll share the story of how we're all here, but let's just say Michael Rutherford connected with this dude here, Maddie, who put a post up on Facebook, who attracted a guy named Jared, who then put another post up on Facebook and called his buddy down there, Mitch, who then now I'm here as a result of, and blah, 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 blah. So now you all know a lot of the resources, any of the graphics that you see, it's Maddie putting his blood, sweat, and tears into, which are truly amazing. And it's incredible to have that fun brand. So give Maddie some love in the chat. I'm really excited for this resource. It is a tool. You're still going to have to, like, it's not going to build the business for you, but it will be a resource. It'll be a system that will save you time, energy, and money, which will be super awesome. So thank you so much for taking time tonight. Before we hang up though, Keisha's going to talk a little bit about more. I'm more excited right now in this point in time than I have been in the almost 6 years that I've been part of Prove It. It'll be August 31st. It'll have been 6 years. It's been an incredible run. And I truly believe, and I'm not just saying that, like the previous 6 years has set us up for the next 18 months of what we have at our fingertips. The conversation of ketones is as strong as it's ever been. The conversation of keto is as strong as it's ever been. Things that are coming together outside of Prove It are making our job sharing ketones even easier. Even if you look at last year with the challenges in the world, right? We're at a point in time where people are more heightened and more concerned about their health, more open to making a change and feeling better than ever before. So if you decide that this is something that you really want to take seriously and want to take to the next level, you're in the right spot. Right? And if you plug into our system, if you understand the rhythm of what you're doing, if you multiply it by your inside game, success will unfold. It might not unfold in a month or 2 months, but if you start to define success by, hey, I'm growing, I'm getting better every single day, guess what? You're going to start to elevate your own level of success, and you're going to start to move through that ranking system that we talked about earlier. So Keisha, tell us a little bit about more. I know there's a ton of people coming. And I can't wait to see so many of your faces and see y'all in person in a short week and a half.
Yes, so I'm literally counting the minutes, days until more. I don't know about you guys, but community is everything to me, and just to be able to hug people and be present and learn and grow and just better ourselves in a room full of people that are all doing the same thing is super exciting for me and very empowering. I'm sure it is for all of you too. Post below if you're coming, if you got your ticket, you got your flight, you got your hotel, like let me know if you're coming, and also if this is your first event. Booked, going first. Oh my goodness. You guys are in for a treat. It's honestly, I know we talk about events a ton. This has to be one of my favorite events because it does also help educate people about the science and really just the innovation of what we are doing. And then obviously being able to see some of these amazing mentors and leaders of ours in one room and really just diving into why we are here, like why you're currently where you are at in your life, in your business, with your family, like all the things. And so more is right around the corner. Tickets are still available. So if you're not quite sure yet, any of us could get on the call with you and tell you why we think it's a really good idea. Honestly, just mentally, and right now with everything going on, it's really empowering just to know that people are still trying to be better, right? Even though when the world is chaos. So tickets are available. We'll be doing huddles as well there. So make sure you guys are staying plugged in with your team specifically. I know some teams have team chats going on, have in a text or even a Facebook. So if you are going, make sure you reach out to your nearest champ and say, hey, is there a team chat that I need to be aware of? So you guys can stay plugged in. I can tell you a lot of the growth that I have is the late night huddles and masterminds that we have. Sometimes it can go on a little bit later than what you maybe entailed it to be, but it's amazing. And do you know if will they be selling the tickets, Nick, up until the event, or is there a?
There would probably be a cutoff. I would recommend getting them now.
Yeah,
not waiting.
Get your tickets. Yeah, it will be a great event, and come ready to learn. Come ready to have like full on notepads, pages. I mean, every time I go, I have like pages and pages and pages of notes. But most of all, like come prepared mentally. Like this is an event. This is to get educated. This is a place for you to learn and grow for yourself. Sometimes I know going to events, having teammates come, like you're worried about other teammates and like what they're getting from it. Trust me, Prove It's got it handled. They know what they're doing. The mentors know what they're doing, but just come mentally for yourself and, you know, ways to grow and strive for better. And then just work with your nearest champ on any logistics or things outside like team chats and stuff to be plugged in while you're there. Go to more. I was trying to find a Prove It song because I don't know about you, but I have a blue personality. If you guys don't know what that means, like I get amped up with music and noise and just energy. So you'll get a little taste of that when you first go too. And sometimes it feels like a raving nightclub, but it's just everyone raving on ketones. So
That's
cool. Well, I appreciate you guys. Nick, is there any last minute things you want to say before we go? You guys, seriously, thank you for showing up. I know a lot of you guys take time away from your kids' bedtimes, dinner and stuff for these calls. Nick, I'm looking forward to this continuing every single month. So make sure you guys stay plugged in. Have a wonderful night and let us know if you guys have any questions.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Good to see y'all.
Bye, guys.